Today we are going to be interviewing, obviously, Vanessa Garcia, because I think that this is a really great story. And Vanessa is always so present on social media, and I think everybody pretty much knows a lot of her journey that she's gone through, but also probably doesn't know everything. And so I think it's inspiring to hear stories of people when they start to get their momentum and what it took to get there. Some people it's quick, some people it's slower. It's kind of you get there when you get there, and every journey is different. And I think one of the most important things is to not compare your progress to somebody else's progress, because that alone will F you up. I'm serious.
Well, hi everyone. I guess this is the intro part. My name is Vanessa Garcia. I know a lot of you guys, and thank you so much for joining in to this podcast. Really, really appreciate it. Since the inception of Voice Masters, back in 2020, 2021, I was one of the first OG students, and pretty much started from the ground up. Margot is here actually too. Hi, Margot. We started at Kalmanson and Kalmanson back in 2018, 2019, before the pandemic hit. And so we had studio time, and right the weekend before the COVID lockdown hit was literally our last class. And then lockdown hit. So we were just like, well, what do we do with our journey? I'm stuck working a law firm job that is now remote. And so I figured, why not? Actually, someone from Voice Masters actually privately DM'd me and said, we saw that you're doing some voice acting. Would you like to join our crew? This was back in 2020, 2021. And obviously, I stayed ever since. So I took almost all of their classes, and I did the whole suite pretty much. And I am just so happy, so glad to be a part of this community from the ground up, seeing everyone's successes as well as failures. But we also contributed to our morale as a community, which I love. And so that's the journey, unless you want me to answer questions, Paulette.
I have lots of questions.
Okay. Well, I didn't know where you wanted to go with this journey.
That's okay. Well, this is a ebb and flow thing. So
Capitan.
all of these interviews, I might usually have a outline, but I like the ebb and flow and have it kind of go where it's meant to go.
Sure.
Eventually. Let me ask you one question. Why? Why voiceover?
That's a good thing.
Why? Why this crazy business? Why?
I spoke about that actually at my One Voice presentation 2 weekends ago. And my journey started from law, as I mentioned, and it was just so draining. It drained my morale, drained my creativity, and I just wanted to be a person again. And me, I'm a goofball. I like, making jokes and just being myself in my law firm. And I just remember one day I was Xeroxing for a trial, preparing for trial, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And one of my paralegal colleagues asked me a really great question. He was like, Vanessa, it's crazy how we are behind a Xerox copy machine doing someone else's dreams and goals. And I was like, oh, wow, I didn't think about that. And he was like, oh, I always wanted to be a professional hockey player, but I can't because I'm of age and my knees are really bad right now, so I can't do that. And I wish I would have spent more time doing the things that I love to do as opposed to doing stuff for a paycheck. And it resonated with me because I was like, yeah, I have many more years to go, and I don't see this for my forever future. Law has helped me, though, with voiceover, believe it or not, with contracts and such, especially with the legalese of the AI protections. And I actually have a phone call with another voice actor that I'm going to be in a meeting with her to discuss the contracts for one of her clients because they did not want to implement the AI protection. And so I'm going to help along the way what I know, and then help revise the legalese for that contract. Anyways,
I think all, if we look at our past, I think our past sources are present. And sometimes in this business, because I have a business class, and one of the questions I always get is like, well, how do I go on how do I do on LinkedIn and add my voice acting without diminishing my other work? Well, you could start your own company and make it a company page. But I believe that all the experience that we have and the things we've done in our past can really support what we're doing now. Even my experience as being a hairdresser in Beverly Hills for 20 years, I worked with some of the biggest movie stars and people, and I was a shy little kid from the Valley. And I think it really helped me become more confident to be able to talk to lots of different types of people and be in different situations, different people from different statures of life, and that I got to be exposed to. So when I was directing someone like Julie Andrews or Meryl Streep or something like that, I wasn't like completely intimidated or felt like it wasn't good enough. And I think that's a really important thing that a lot of actors go through is like, am I good enough? The imposter syndrome, all of those things. And when you talk about that one thing that someone said to you that transformed you, the one thing that someone said to me that transformed me when I ran away, when I was dealing with my difficulties, was act as if and the feelings will follow. And that's, also a very big AA thing. But it is really helpful because sometimes we have to do things that we don't feel we're ready for. But if you wait till you're ready to do it, you're never going to do it. So you just have to do it even if you're scared. You have to pretend until the pretend goes away. So if you have to say, I'm pretending I'm a voice actor until you feel like you're a real voice actor, then just fucking do that.
Yeah, no, I totally resonate with your story, which is why we bonded more, because and that's what led to my calling of voice acting, which is I did have 2 mental health breakdowns during my career as a litigation paralegal. I was bedridden for days and seeing double vision, and I was thinking to myself, like, is this my life? Like, why would I want to succumb to this being my life when everyone has known me as being lively, being like joking and just being myself? I just felt like I was not myself when I was, in the trenches of trial and arbitration and stuff. So I believe I was like a phoenix rising after that whole darkness of my life during COVID. I rediscovered myself, and I felt like I had this calling to speak out about this, not just with my talent as, impersonations and character work and such, but I needed to be an advocate for mental health. And so people won't feel the same way I felt again. I didn't like being bedridden. Like, I cried for days, and I didn't know what to do with that. I just knew I needed to do something after I recovered. And I felt like that was my natural calling, was to use my humor, use my work, use my acting background in speech and debate to bring joy, to bring awareness, to bring entertainment to people. And that was, I felt, gratifying, of being of service to people. And then when I started, finding my people, finding you guys online, one by one, everyone had the same type of journey. Everyone had recovery people pleasing. Everyone had ADHD. Everyone felt misplaced and didn't want to do their survival job anymore. They felt the calling to be in this community for whatever reason. And it was just the stars aligned. Everything came together. Everyone found each other. And it's such a beautiful thing because everyone's story seriously resonated with everyone else. We all felt welcomed with each other. Like, I joked around with my college friends. They didn't understand my jokes. They would actually say, Vanessa, what are you doing? When I go to conferences or when I talk to people in, the Voice Masters Summer Bash, we followed each other's like jokes. We followed each other's humor. We did ourselves. We did the most. We had fun, and we expressed.
I think the greatest thing about the community in general, and especially getting together in person, is it's such an accepting community, and everybody just you're there. There's no drama. There's just love and fun, and obviously a lot of personalities going around. So so you were nominated this year at One Voice,
Yes.
and I want to bring this up as a newcomer. But I think you had two nominations, right?
Yes. Yes.
What were say what those were?
I had best non-binary performance, and I also had best newcomer of the year award. Because of Voice Masters, I was able to start befriending casting directors.
You took our dubbing class.
I took your dubbing class.
Back then it was online. Now it's only in studio.
Right, right. So I took first I took two of your.
That's right, you did, because we did do it in studio. Also, we did it in studio on the last day, I think. I
Right.
remember, yeah.
Right. So we had like it was a virtual one at first, and then the last day was in person, and then the second class was the in person 2 day studio one.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so with that, I befriended Brandon Schuster, and Brandon English and Andy Roth and everyone else. And Brandon English was the one who cast me as the recording of Annabelle in the Netflix true crime series 900 Days Without Anabel. And I also played a couple of incidental roles as well, a couple of reporters, a couple of eyewitnesses. And that was pretty much after the Lost Children was my incidental breakout role. And then I got cast right soon after with the 900 Days Without Annabelle. So I had a lot of parts, a lot of characters in that movie, in that true crime series. And I was just very grateful for the opportunity to work with people who work with you guys, and also expand like on the job experience of how to better myself in live action dubbing, and I'm hoping soon anime, because of my training with Voice Masters, and because I put myself out there with casting directors. Especially with posting and social media as well, I was able to get jobs from those postings, from people I know, from casting directors and so on. So that was literally my breakout role after literally 6 years of coaching and training. And that was like my first professionally paid role as a voice actor. It literally took me 6-7 years to get this.
So the one with the other one where you're the newcomer, 6 years as a newcomer, was that hard to get to that nomination due to how long it took from the beginning you started to the nomination?
Yes, absolutely. When people say, "Oh, you have a great voice, you should do voice acting," that's not enough. It really isn't. It doesn't even get you through the door. And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn to get great coaching. I sought out high-profile coaches, and I trained vigorously on that. Like I said, the reason why it expedited my journey was because, and I want to be honest with everyone, it took a lot of investment from my own personal savings, from being in litigation, from being in law. It took my full-time survival job for me to get as far as I have in such a short amount of time. However, because of that, it's not really a newcomer, because I've put myself out there in my talents through social media and through attending conferences. And like what Paulette said, putting myself out there into the world, because I knew I needed to advocate for myself, have a name, a brand, a persona out there that people would recognize. and people
Yeah,
can,
so on your social media stuff you just talked about,
right.
I think that your social media upped your game after we did the business class, I'm
Mhm.
assuming. And you were named a top 10 voice over influencer in 2025 at FeedSpot.
Yeah.
So how do you balance, oh my God, I can't believe, I might have to go get some throat spray. How do you balance social media creation with your voiceover work, and what role does content creation play in your brand and outreach?
So, I started during the pandemic of TikTok, and actually, that's where I found a lot of you on TikTok, on Instagram, and I started befriending every one of you guys. And it like little by little, we started like creating a community, and then it was a clubhouse event, and then like all of us spawned into, oh, let's do collaborations, let's hang out one of these days, like on a Zoom call or whatever. And that was the one that like cultivated my following, was all of you, because we all wanted to be in this journey together, and we all needed company during COVID. It was so isolating, especially for me. I was just remotely doing law, and that was it. So when I started doing practices and TikTok voiceover challenges and Instagram postings, I found all of you, and it was so cool to see like everyone inspired each other. Everyone said, hey, there's a new voice acting challenge out there, I want to see your interpretation of it, like do it. And so we all started following each other, we all started making up our new voice acting challenge. Shout out to Joe, that he did like this master cut of all of us voice actors, that why the reason why we did voice acting, and found each other on social media, and that cultivated that following, which, and then when COVID restrictions lifted, we were able to like say, oh, I know who you are, like I saw you on TikTok, or I saw you whatever, you're not a box anymore. You look different now. So and after that, we started making friendships, and then started wanting to help each other grow in our business, and it just has been such a great creative outlet to know that like begets like begets like. And as soon as that like snowball hit, everyone started getting projects, everyone started booking, then getting agents, then like it was like we were a cohort of like voice actors coming up together, and then now we see like our the fruits of our labor. It's like so inspiring to see like how my cohort is now getting those Marvel rival stuff. They're doing all these big games, and going to Comic Cons as a presenter, and even as speakers at One Voice and VO Atlanta and such. It's just so cool to say I met my role model growing up. Like it's like, I don't want to cry, but like I always pictured doing that one day. And during COVID, when I was binge watching during my Netflix stuff, with like what was it, Joe Exotic and stuff like that, back in the day when we were creating sourdough bread, I never thought possible that I would be on Netflix, like ever. It literally was just like 5 years later. Now I'm like have roles thanks to Voice Masters and thanks to all of you. So that was inspiring my journey of social media, just to get myself out there in the world, because we need to put ourselves out there.
Yeah,
We don't advocate.
it's interesting because the last few shows I've cast, the lead roles are with auditions, but the other roles, the guest star roles or the secondary roles, but even with the lead roles, the producer goes, "Oh, I want to look at their social media. I want to see what they have posted. I want to see what they're like."
Right.
And it's really important that you pay some attention to it. You don't have to make this your career, or get a social media manager. I mean, you can now. There's so many inexpensive ones, but
I mean, this was a hobby before for me. It was just a
yeah,
passion project.
yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is that it is important to have some sort of presence.
Hmm.
And you don't have to have a million followers, but you do have to look like this is what you do for a living. Like this, not maybe one of the things that you do for a living. Like this is, you're taking this, seriously. Because when it's up to you, when they're looking at three actors and they're giving that person a shot,
Hmm.
and they don't have a ton of credits, they're going to go to your social media next. And they're going to go, oh, this person, I don't even see anything. It's just pictures of their dog. This person,
Which is not a bad thing. I mean,
no, it's not a bad thing if their dog can talk.
yeah, roof.
It's not a bad thing, but then you do need to, then you can have a personal and a business one, that's fine too. But you do need to have some sort of social media presence, and you do have to have something where it shows that you do this, even if you don't have jobs, even if you can't post like I got this booking today, you can at least go in your booth and
Mhm.
practice something and post it. There's so many different things you can do that people make this like such a like it's they overthink it.
Yes.
No one's gonna hate you if you post something that they don't like. They're just gonna skip it. No one's gonna come after you. There's some people like, oh, everything has to be perfect, and it's like just stop thinking about it. Just do something that inspires you and have fun.
I
Um,
actually I have a quote about that because I'm wearing my Blondie band T-shirt, and I love Debbie Harry, and she is actually the one that really inspired me to just take risks. You know, like we really have to take risk in this industry because, and then if we don't put ourselves out there, no one will know who we are. I mean, as
no,
it is, no one knows who voice actors are. We're behind the mic. We're not A-listers. Like, that's the common misconception of things is that we, get behind a mic and then we're famous all of a sudden, But Debbie Harry said something that said, the seeds of creativity aren't really just numbers and letters. It's a lot more. It has to do with us. It has to do with the soul. And so that really resonated with me because we have to be creative. And I talked about this in my presentation. We have to put ourselves like we are the main character in our brand. And
that's right.
we're not the NPC. No one's going to advocate for us because we have to do it ourselves. So we have to go out there and show the world that we could do this.
I agree with you 100%. You can't hide
No.
and
I mean,
expect
we
people
could
to
be in
find
this padded booth forever, but I mean, the reason why I put myself out there is because I knew I had a purpose to do more and be an advocate for things and just, expand my horizons with different people and I hope inspire people to keep going with their own journey.
Um, so yeah, that I think trying to inspire other people is something we all try to do. I think that's really important. And to make sure that you feature yourself so you can get hopefully more exposure as well. Tell me about when you did your last talk at One Voice in your presentation. Using to amplify the LGBTQ plus and Latina community, how much was that focused upon in your talk?
Well, I touched upon it just because I didn't, what can I say? I didn't want it to be super political. With what's going on in our world right now, it's hard to discuss this in a real life situation without offending someone.
Well, no, you can. I think the way that you can discuss it, from my point of view as a casting director,
Yeah,
is because well, I'm talking about dubbing,
right.
trying to cast actors authentically in the roles as much as we possibly can. It's not can't always happen because we can't always find the right actors.
Right.
But let's say it's a Latina or Latinx product, most of the actors. So we tried to cast people from that heritage.
Right.
Or I know when Andy was doing a show and the lead character was gay,
Mm-hmm.
was queer, and I recommend somebody for the role, somebody Tyler Menji, who's an unbelievable actor, and he had never done a dubbing job. I like Mimi and I advocated for him, and he got the role, and he did an amazing job. But part of that, not that he's just a great actor, but also he is queer.
Right.
So trying to, and that was really important to Netflix, to represent the actors that are representing the original actors have a same identity, similar identity, or how they identify it themselves. And that's not controversial. That's kind of that is what's happening right now, and it's been happening for quite a while. So I'm not sure how that would offend people.
Well, I mean, how can I say this? When I was speaking out on a topic just recently, actually on Facebook, but let's be real, Facebook is about debates and stuff like that. So I was trying to give my fair take on some legal stuff in the voiceover industry, and some random person just came in and started discussing about my last name and about immigration raids. Like, it was just so randomly out of topic, like, for what I was trying to say.
Well, there's always those people.
Right. So, like,
Just
it was
block them.
funny
Just kick
because
them off and block them and be done.
it was funny because during that time, a lot of the voice actors came to my rescue, though. They're like, what does this have to do with what Vanessa was talking about? Like, there was nothing about immigration in what she said. And so it was so funny because, the voice acting community has its interesting way of highlighting people who should not be a part of the community or should be frowned upon. And so it's interesting, when you are a real person and when you are authentic with people resonate with that. And they know who's like doing things like with good intention and good morale. Whereas some people are just, they're stuck in a bubble and obviously no fault of their own. But, it takes self-awareness to know about these things. And I'm glad that casting directors are self-aware to bring these characters to life because, as someone who is minority and queer, I'm literally outcasted, in today's society, quote unquote, because of my difference. And,
I don't think that's true. I'm gonna say bullshit on that.
Okay. Call me out.
I'm gonna say bullshit on that. Well, the reason I'm gonna say bullshit on that is because almost everybody I work with at Netflix is either queer or minority.
Right.
So I don't think that anything has anything to do with anything. And being a straight white woman, at my age, that is I have my own thing, in my business as well. So we all have things that we have to overcome what people think of us in a split second.
Right.
And the whole point is to show the other side of yourself. I did this exercise when I was doing working with Barbara Deutsch, who's an incredible life coach working with actors and people in entertainment when I was changing my career. We had this one seminar that was at a really huge center. I think it was AFI, hundreds of people. And they made an example of me and they made me stand up and said, asked the audience my first impression of me without knowing me. Mm-hmm. And it was, oh, she lives in Malibu. She likes to surf. She's, just all these like really superficial things.
Right.
It's obviously a long time ago. And I said, okay, now tell the audience something complete opposite of what they said about you. I said, well, I was a concert cellist. I just blobbed off a whole bunch of things. And the audience was like, I could hear the silence, this like shocking silence. And I think part of what's great about social media, if you can show the other sides of yourself, that people get first impressions, but you need to make sure the impression you give is the impression that is your true self, that all of you, as much as you can, because we live in a society where people don't take the time to understand other people. And I think it's really important to do that.
Right. No,
because it
I
also
agree.
inspires other people to do the same thing. I mean, one of the things of working with you, Vanessa, as a coach, you have so much talent in your toolbox, and how many characters that you have, and so many things that you can do. And I'm so proud of your journey and how much you have learned and taken in. And I've seen it for over these years, and it's really incredible to watch. I know you just got represented this year too,
Mhm.
with a wonderful agent, and I think I think my partner helped you do with that.
Yes.
So tell me about how things have changed for you now that you have representation.
Oh my gosh. First of all, thank you. I really kind of teared up right now. Um,
Better you
yes.
than me, because I'm the crier in this room usually.
No, it's a good cry. It's a validation cry because you know of how long I've been training with you guys, and like now it's like coming to fruition. You know, it's a long time coming. You know, so that's why thank you for that. Like a genuine thank you. And yes, I did take a meeting at first with SBV talent, and that was great because I befriended Ference, the agent, during one of the workshops with Kristen Paiva, and it was a talent workshop. And we had so many things in common. First of all, he's half Peruvian, like I am. I'm half Mexican, half Peruvian. And he did a speech and debate during my time, and we lived in the same community too, just one city out. So we totally bonded. And and so he took a meeting with me because I had industry referrals as well, which is a big thing, by the way. Everyone who's seeking agents or talent managers definitely get industry referrals. They will definitely look at that, really top priority. Anyways, I took a meeting with them. Obviously, at that time, I was very green. I had, a couple of Netflix shows, but they really wanted at that time to be heavily in the SAG-AFTRA union, which I'm currently SAG-AFTRA eligible as of right now. So they did not take me on, but they did say it's a not right now. It wasn't a no. It was just a not right now because I was still green. I reached out to Mimi Maynard, and I did tell her my situation. I said, hey, I just got a no from SBV, but I did take a couple of classes with Michaela Hicks, who is my current agent right now, and I took a workshop with her during Vox, when she was still with Vox, and then I took another one later on when she just signed on with Eris Talent. So so basically it was an agent workshop where I showed my skill set in commercial and animation. So in those two workshops, she remembered me, and we kept in touch during those times. And then the LA wildfire hit, and then everything else kind of got scattered, and it just got lost in the emails. Anyways, I reached out to Mimi, and I told her my situation. I said, hey, I really want to be represented already. May I use you as a industry referral to get representation? And she's like, yeah, sure. So right away that same day, Mimi got an email and then said, contacted Michaela Hicks. She was like, oh, Vanessa's a Voice Masters alumnus. She has done XYZ work for us, blah, blah, blah. And then the greatest email I have ever received from anyone, especially in this industry, was Michaela replying back saying, Vanessa, what took you so long? I've been waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, out of a no came a hell yes. And I was just like, yes, that's exactly what the people I want to work with, is the people that says hell yes to you. Like, why not? Let's do it. And that's how I got signed with Michaela this past May. And, ever since then, I've been getting so many opportunities, so many auditions, because, I live here in LA. And I've gotten auditions from Disney, from Warner Brothers, from just you name it, even private auditions that are not out there. I recently took a video game workshop with Melissa Grillo, which I totally recommend too for video games. Because I told her at a agent workshop with Real Voice LA, I said, hey, I'm also represented by Michaela Hicks. And she's like, oh, yeah, okay. Literally, this happened Tuesday of this week. Just yesterday, I got an audition from her, from my agent, because I took her workshop. And because I said I advocated for myself, I'm SAG-AFTRA eligible, blah, 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 I'm still in LA. I took the initiative and I put myself out there in front of a casting director. And I said, hey, this is my skills. Like, let's keep in touch. Let's do this. The same thing happened with Maria Estrada, who is Disney casting director as well. I wrote her a thank you email after a workshop, and now we are working together with my agent. I did that with Brian Nevsky, who is the global Disney theme park casting director. I also hooked Brian Nevsky with my agent, Michaela Hicks. So basically, I'm trying to cultivate a team that says, hey, I can do this. Let's, keep me in mind for auditions. And I advocated for myself. So that's like one of the key takeaways, as Michaela likes me to say all the time now. We have a running joke. I always say key takeaway. The key takeaway is that you have to advocate for yourself and put yourself in those rooms where you deserve to be in. And that's what I learned throughout my journey, is that because of law, because I put myself into the rooms I wanted to be in, I advocated for myself. And that's where my success was growing after a while. It's you plant the seeds here and there, and you water them, and then all of a sudden they become a garden. And that's what happened.
That's so great. What advice would you give other aspiring voice actors, especially transitioning from unrelated fields? What I know it's a really big question.
That's a loaded question.
I know it's kind of a loaded question.
Well, my advice is just to keep going. Literally keep going. Consistency, determination, just not taking no for an answer. In law, I have to always have a mentality of, hey, this is just down the duck's back. Whatever, just go with it. I even having a meeting with my attorneys in a couple of hours because they're complaining about my billable hour time and how long I took to write a detailed summary of a case. So you cannot please everyone. And that's another thing. You can't please everyone in this life. I can't please my lawyers. I can't please my partners in my law firm. I can't please a lot of people, but we are doing the best we can with what we have, and we just got to be ourselves in what we do.
That is great. I think that's great advice.
I mean, I had to learn that the hard way too. It was like through a lot of freaking struggles and just pain. Like, just, the attorneys were just naysayers, and everyone was just out to get me for whatever reason. And I'm just like, I'm just doing my thing. I just really want to just act. I'm doing the work for my lawyers. Like, what else do you want me to do? I'm really doing the most.
Well, I think we can only do the best that we can do, and just keep moving forward. And I think constantly looking at creating. There's quite a few people in this room that I admire for their creativity and how much they put into this. I mean, Carlos and Chris and Clifton, and his stuff has been really amazing. Marco, I mean, there's so many people. James, there's so many people here. Lyle, Jim, I could go on and on. And the amount of time and work that they put into their social media and presenting themselves. And I mean, if I didn't name your name, it's not because not thinking of you. It's because I can't say everybody's name in this whole damn room.
3 pages worth of Zooms.
I know. I am really so proud of all of the work that you guys put in and how much you inspire other people. And I feel so honored to be a part of this community.
Yeah, same here. Same here. It's very inspiring to know that the good ones, in this industry are really trying to help each other out. And we can only do so much, So that was another thing I talked about was self-compassion. When I was in law or am in law, I can't always get to an audition or I can't always post for the day, but it's okay because why? Tomorrow's another day and we could just get done what we can today. I mean, even my therapist told me, Vanessa, if you're 50% there today, just do 50%. That's all you can do, and that's okay. If you're 95% the next day, you rock it. You do your thing. But you cannot always hold things against yourself because there's only so many hours in a day. And we cannot always control everything outside of our lives.
Lyle has something to say. Yes, Lyle.
Yes.
Hey, Vanessa, how are you?
Hey, Lyle, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. My question, you've alluded to the fact that you are still practicing law, doing that law thing. How do you juggle your time management between that and your voiceover thing, particularly auditions, marketing, everything else, production, everything else that comes with that?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I question that myself every day. I luckily though, this is the caveat too. I still work remotely from home, and full time working remotely from home. I'm not a hybrid or on site. My firm has not advertised or anything for us to go in person yet, so I'm knocking on wood. But I'm taking advantage of that by doing auditions like really early in the morning. I'm talking about like my times to audition are like 3 to 8.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm barely getting enough sleep, barely, because my that's another thing is my Michaela is giving me auditions like almost round the clock turnover. She's giving it to me between the hours of 4 to 6 the day before, and they're due at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11, maybe sometimes 3 p.m. But during
Are
that
those
time,
East Coast auditions?
Oh, Pacific.
the Pacific.
Oh, they are?
Yeah,
Oh.
so they're my time period. So literally after I end my workday, I then have to look at my emails to see what auditions I got. And sometimes like even yesterday, I got like 6 auditions. And they were all staggeredly due. Like 2 were due at 9 a.m., 1 was due at noon, another rush audition I got at like 3. And like you literally have to find the time and the space to like, juggle everything. It's such a juggle. And, I'm still trying to find that juggle balance, but my key takeaway is if you really want this, you have to make the time to do it.
Yeah, time
And
management. Time management.
it sounds like you're literally just banging out everything. You're not sitting there overthinking.
No.
Well, do I read it this way? Do I read it that way? You
Not
just
overthink at all. I mean, I'm the queen of overthinking in law. But and then I get to take that out and be like, okay, an audition's due at 9. Like, what can I do? Like, bam. And like, you just shoot it out there in the universe. And you're like, okay, cool. I already did my audition. I'm fine.
All right. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you guys for being here. If you guys have any questions about classes or anything, please hit me up. You can DM me or email me at info@voice-masters.com. Vanessa, I want to say just how proud I am of you and thank you for, always just, doing a shout out for our company. We really appreciate it. It means a lot. Referrals mean a lot to us. We are not the kind of company that does huge ads. That's not what we're about. We're not about, we try to provide quality and support, and that's what we're about. We're not about just getting whoever we can get. That's never been Voice Masters. We've always been a word of mouth company, and because I think that's our strong point is the community that we have and the community that we love and why we do this. So thank you all for being here today. And Vanessa, do you have anything else you want to say before we close shop?
Yes, because of that, I strongly, and I cannot thank Voice Masters enough. I am in partnership with them. So if you have we have discount codes. discount code of $50 off any class is Vanessa 50, and then $100 off for any demo that you do. That's Vanessa 100. If you want to, take advantage of that, I believe Paulette, you said that it was also good with other discount codes you mentioned.
It can be. I'm working on that so people can combine them. But I just put it in the chat. So you guys, we're not doing a raffle today. You have Vanessa's code.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
no raffles.
And so I just strongly advocate for this community because like we all grew up together and we are all like a cohort, so we rally, we have referrals for jobs. I know I referred a lot of you to jobs and mentioned really good things about all of you. So I'm a strong advocate for all of everyone. So thank you so much for joining us in this podcast. Like I really thank all of you, and I especially thank Voice Masters Paulette and Mimi and everyone.
Welcome, sweetheart. Okay, you guys, we'll see you next week. I'm not sure what we're doing, but we'll do something fun.
Yeah, get better, Paulette.
Thank you, guys. Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.